Happy Halloween, everybody. I'm so excited about this topic. We're going to be discussing today whether you are a trick or a treat for your spouse. Stay tuned.
Hey, I'm Rusty.
And I'm Heather.
And we're the Bryants, and this is the Redeemed Marriage Podcast.
We are here to encourage healthy marriages, strengthen wounded marriages, and begin the process of restoration to broken marriages.
We aren't licensed counselors, but we are a redeemed couple that loves the Lord and wants to help you journey through this messy, challenging, and fun part of life called marriage.
That was such a nice change from...
That was...
Wait, what do you normally say?
Hello, folks.
Hello.
That was actually a really bad, evil laugh.
It really was.
You know, we have no idea when you're listening to this, but
That's right.
we're recording this the day before Halloween. Maybe for our promotion of this week, we should dress up in Halloween costumes. A different one every day of the week.
I'll be in one tomorrow at 6:45 when I leave for school.
Oh, well, we'll just
join me?
Nah. I mean, we could just let you be the promo for it all week.
I'll be ready, 6:45.
So, yeah. Well, here's the thing. There's a lot of people out there that don't like Halloween.
Yeah.
And that's okay. We're not
promoting Halloween.
This has nothing to do, which, yeah, I mean, you know, for us and where we live, it was always a good time walking around and letting our kids get candy because then we could eat their candy. Mm-hmm. And so
we would go through it and pull out the suspicious ones.
Yeah, you don't need to eat that one. That looks like it may be laced with something funny. So then we could eat it. But, you know, it doesn't matter. Whether we don't want you to turn us off today because you're not a proponent of Halloween. So this is not that. But as we were talking through what we were going to do, what our topic was going to be, Heather said, "Hey, let's talk about whether your marriage is a trick or a treat." And I was like,
that elementary school teacher just comes out strong every now and then.
I tell you, and of course, my question was, "What do you mean by a trick?" Like, oh, you tricked me into marrying you.
No.
What did you mean by that?
Like, have you ever seen one of those shows that people trick people on purpose? Like, what are those shows called? Mm-hmm. Come on, help me. Like, I just said one while ago.
Yeah, like when you're like a candid camera.
Yeah, candid camera, or those people that have really bad mouths but are so hilarious.
Yeah.
I forget their names, where they trick people on purpose, you know, where you're looking around going, is this real life?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of what I meant. Like, are you in your marriage going, seriously, this is not what I thought it was going to be like?
Yeah.
And is this real life? Like, surely this is not real life.
I got duped.
This. Or are you a treat to your spouse? And honestly, we don't have to keep saying a trick or a treat because it's really kind of corny. But it's a cute little topic, cute little tagline.
It's so cute. Okay, so what are you going to be dressed up like tomorrow?
Our activity teachers are doing Through the Decades, and I'm the 50s girl.
Ah, like poodle skirt?
Yeah, poodle skirt. I got me a little shirt with a poodle and a little jacket and some glasses and a little scarf.
Okay.
And my little poodle, you know, the little socks that they used to wear. Mine have pink poodles on them.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
I'm crushing life in the 50s tomorrow.
So if I wanted to dress up with you, I would be like...
Roll up your jeans.
John Travolta, Grease.
Yeah. Yeah.
Grease lightning.
Yep. Mm-hmm. T-Bird.
T-Bones.
No.
T-Bones. No, T-Birds. T-Birds. No, I'm not going to dress up tomorrow like the T-Birds. So,
sigh.
Yeah. Well, anywho. Okay, but we, as we were talking about what we were going to talk about, you kind of twisted it a little bit. So tell us, just let's go. Jump in. What are we doing?
Well, I thought it would be fun to tell ways that we think you can be a treat to your spouse. Like, what are some things that you really like when I do that you're like, yeah, I like that. Like, I can tell that you're really giving and really being purposeful in treating me well or doing something that you know that I enjoy or something that is important to me. Like, what are some things that I do that you consider, going back to our theme, a treat? And I just thought it might be, people can get some ideas. People can get some ideas. They may go, yeah, my spouse would not like that. But they may think, oh, I've never thought of that before. Because I think that after our marriage crisis, we became very purposeful in a lot of things. One of them being boundaries. One of them, just being really purposeful and extreme in those things, just because of what we went through, which I don't think is a bad idea for a lot of people. But then I also think that we went to the nth degree on trying to make each other happy and finding ways that we can serve one another. And I think that that's easier now because our children are older. I can just hear some people listening going, I have nothing left to give because after dealing with children all day but I do think that it's important to find things that your wife or your husband enjoys, and that they enjoy it, and that it would be a treat for them, and do those things purposefully, even if you don't love doing them. And I think that in my really trying to, I don't want to use make it up to you, that doesn't sound right. But I just became very purposeful because I knew I'd hurt you exceedingly bad. And so I became really, really tuned in and became pretty intense on doing things that I think brought you joy because I think you deserve it.
Well, and to play off of that a little bit, there's people out there that are like, well, I didn't do anything to my spouse, so I really don't feel obligated to. And what I would say there is, if we had lived that way for all of the first 15 years of our marriage, if we had lived marriage as, hey, what can I do for you? How can I make marriage a treat for my spouse?
Right.
Then
things may have been different.
Yep.
They may have been different.
All right, so we're just spitballing here.
Yeah,
we're just back and forth.
You want me to tell things too?
Yeah. Well, who do you? Yeah.
Okay.
Who do you think's listening to this?
Well, I just thought you could, but I'll tell you things too. Okay, let's go. You go first.
No. See, this is what happens when you don't actually discuss what you're going to talk about. No, yeah. I mean, this can't be one.
Okay.
Yeah. No, this is you saying things because there's people out there that are like, oh, well, I need to know. I mean, from the husband's perspective, the wife's perspective. I mean, all of that.
Okay.
So.
Well, I don't mind going first.
Okay.
Can I preface it by saying that we are not saying, look at us. There are times we don't do this well. But this is, in general, things that you do or I do that we know make each other happy. And sometimes we fail. Sometimes we don't do it well. But this is what we're aiming for. So don't get the, oh, we don't do anything well. I mean, you see what I'm saying?
I should have made a list, man. Because we're gonna be talking, and I'm gonna forget things.
That's okay. It's on the fly. Hey, relax. You don't need your 1, 2, 3 ABC.
Hey, I'm looking at this book right in front of me that Ted Cunningham wrote. I love that laughs. It says, "Lighten up, cut loose, enjoy life together."
That's
right.
So let's
do.
So it's okay. You don't have to have a bullet point.
Everybody. See, look, we just go real life on you guys, and I hope that you can appreciate that. But y'all know we talk all the time about how I like the 3 points and the 3 points in the poem and the sermon and all that. And I like to be prepared. And we were talking about our topic for the day, and this lady over here said, I just like it when you have 3 points. I'm like, what? You talk about all the time. I just like to talk. I don't like all that structure. And then she literally sat there. She was standing right over there by the fire, and she goes, I just like it when you have 3 points. And oh my goodness. Now here we go. All right. We're just rolling.
Rolling.
Go.
Okay. So I really, really love, and it is a treat for me when you do something around the house that is service. For example, and I'm going to list all the things that you help with. Okay, don't get jealous, ladies. He doesn't do all of these things all of the time, but he pitches in tremendously in these areas. You help fold clothes.
I do.
You help do dishes.
I do.
You help.
I just did something just a few minutes ago that's like one of the worst things in the world.
Putting sheets on the bed. That was your fault. I put the clean sheets on our bed, and our 15-year-old came in and said, "Dad, will you help me put mine on?" And you're just a
What a
sucker.
loser. I mean, good
Okay, so
grief.
putting sheets on the bed, helping with dishes, and helping wash and fold clothes is huge. Now, I will say, you always cut the grass and take out the trash. You do the things that you enjoy doing. These are bonus things that if I've had a hard day at work, like you will purposefully sometimes just make up the bed just for fun because I leave before or as you're getting out of the bed. And so that's just not something I have time to do in the morning. And so you'll just make up the bed, and like those things make me happy. Now, we have talked to people who could care less about their house being clean, just somebody have dinner on the table when I come home. You see what I'm saying? Like that may be important to some people. And people, your husband may not care if you have a clean house so I'm just saying this is important that you make sure it's important to your spouse. But for me, those things make me feel very loved, and it is a treat when I come home, or if I've had something after school to do, or talking to the listeners, if you're had to do something with your child or go to soccer practice or whatever, and then you come home and your spouse has done something to serve you around the house, it just is really special.
While you were talking through all that, I was just thinking about the listeners and people that are out there listening. And of course, these are these are specific and personal to us, just like you said. So there's some people out there that are like, "Nah, I could care less." What we're trying to get at here is there needs to be a discussion. Like you need to know what makes your spouse happy. Like that. If you don't, like if you couldn't sit here, because as you were saying that, what I was thinking in my head was, okay, well, if you gave me a sheet of paper and said, hey, list, 3 things that, like, for you are like, oh, that is so great that you did that. Like, I could do that. And those the things that you just said are kind of at the top of the list. And, like, I just know that. And the days that I don't do it, it's not because I don't care anything about her today. It's, life
gets in the way.
Yeah, I was busy or whatever. Right. But if I have time and I can do it, then I'm going to do it to make you happy.
And what is amazing is you say, if you have time to do it, you will. If you have time, you don't sit down and play a video game. If you have time, you don't sit down and watch something. If you have time, like you are so purposeful with your time that you make an effort to do those things with your spare time. That makes me happy. That's a treat.
So I would say to people, like I was saying, that if you're listening, find out, ask your spouse. Let's make this, as you're listening to this, let's figure out how can you need to know. You need to know what it is. And you said something that triggered me to think like this. You said he does all the things like doing the yard work and taking out the trash. And there are tons of people listening to us that they have no idea whose expectation. Like, they really don't know. They don't know. Like, the spouse doesn't know, my spouse expects me to take out the trash. Like, it becomes this, well, who's going to do it? Or my spouse expects me to come up with the grocery list or, all that, because it's never talked about.
Or maybe you one of the spouses takes out the trash and they're frustrated about it because it should be the other person's job, and this other spouse has no idea.
And they never talk
like
about
I had
it.
no idea that
Yep.
that pissed you off. You know,
Yep.
like talk about it.
And part of why I just thought of that, we have become marriage mentors, which, I mean, obviously with our ministry, we do lots of mentoring and coaching and things like that. But like officially to help our church out, we went through a class, and we're able to do some premarital counseling and stuff with people in our couples in our church that are going to get married. And we just got this. We do this. They fill out this long. I mean, it's a
Big
lot of
questionnaire.
information. And when we got it back, one of the things is there's this huge list of stuff, and it's like, who do you expect to do these things? And you can put either, I expect I'm going to do that when we get married, or my spouse is going to do that, or we're going to do it together. And it's things like put gas in the car, and grocery shopping, and taking out the trash. I mean,
Mowing
all
the
those
grass.
things. And it's
We can
amazing. It's amazing how many people have
No idea.
like they're so off on that. Like the woman is saying, or the lady saying, this is what I'm expecting that I'm going to do this. Well, the males, I mean, doing the budget, all of that kind of stuff. It's because nobody ever talks about it. And so
we're going to put that in our curriculum that we do, and have a me, you, or a we, a me, we, a you, we, or a we, we.
Me, a you, we, or we. Okay, we have gotten bogged
Sorry,
down.
that's just, and it was only my turn. It's your turn.
But I think that all of that is because we want to trigger some communication. We want to trigger some communication, and we want to trigger some thinking. Like marriage, we just talked about last week how marriage requires attention. And I think this is a big part of it. Like, this is attention. This is giving attention to your spouse and what your spouse likes and needs and makes them happy and all that kind of stuff.
That's right.
Okay. So I have to tell mine. All right. Well, I mean, let's just, everybody knows what it's going to be.
Initiate.
Yes. So I would say that at the top of the list is initiating physical intimacy, initiating sex.
I knew that was your first one.
Hey, thanks for joining us this week. We'll see you next week.
I knew that was the last one.
So,
your first one.
I think that everybody would be like, well, I knew the guy was going to say that. But, I mean, we're being real. And I will say that for us, we don't struggle a whole lot in that area now. And that is something that you are very, very good at doing, because you know that is a need of mine, and you know that makes me happy. You know that it's that it's a treat.
Yep.
So, so I don't want to necessarily talk about that, because I would think that's a no-brainer.
Sure.
That people are like, well, I mean, I knew that. But to affirm you and say, all right, thank you.
Fist bump.
Fist bump, you're awesome.
Thanks.
Okay, but where I would say that might be a little twist on that people were like, okay, that let's talk, so it's not as uncomfortable as that. Like flirting, when you purposefully flirt with me, like that just makes me the head explodes. I just feel like I'm on top of the world. And so, and that doesn't, it could be sexual flirting in a way, but it's not always that. It's just, saying something positive, some sort of words of affirmation, but not just, oh, you're the best at cutting the grass. I'm not talking about that. I mean, I'm talking about flirting, and just like when you were dating. Like, who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want to be flirted with? Like and let's be honest, that's how affairs happen, because somebody starts flirting. So, like, why do we not do that more with our own spouse?
Right.
And so, yes, I mean, that's up there at the top of the list.
Nice.
So, and I know those two things kind of go together, because if you're flirting, then it is going to hopefully that's what the guy would hope, that it would lead to something physical as well. But anyway, all
It's a
right.
good one.
So there you go.
Okay. I think my next one, that something I consider a treat, is that the fact that you take care of yourself. I like that.
You just stole mine. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I love the fact that you take care of yourself. You get up and I'm not just talking about physically. I'm talking about spiritually. Physically is obviously the one that came to my mind, but you just take care of yourself. You take care of our family. You take care of your spiritual self. You run every morning with the dog. I know you spend time in the Word when you get back. You eat right. You just take care of us. You take care of us, and you do everything you can to make sure that you're going to be around for us.
Well, you really did steal my next one too. And I have a little, I guess, more depth to put into that. But
Are you saying I'm not deep?
you're just like, hey, you go run and you eat and read the Bible. Good job. No, I'm just kidding. But it really, all of those things too apply to you. And so when you're trying, well, first of all, I mean, you're the same way. You do. I mean, you get up and earlier than everybody else in this house so that you can spend time in the Word, and you've gotten in this good routine and a good habit of when you come home, you exercise, you take the dog for a walk. Our dog is spoiled, by the way, because you just heard her say, "I go run in the morning," and she goes walk. I mean, it's a routine.
Yep.
And if you could see him right now, you'd be like,
Perked
"Yeah,
up.
he is.
He's ready.
He is spoiled." But that's a big one to me, and I'm going to be really honest. So again, we're raw and real and talk about it. But that was a painful thing to me when we walked through infidelity, because at that point I knew that you were taking care of yourself physically, but it wasn't really for me. And it was just for everybody else. Like it was we've talked about this before,
Sure.
but it was very selfish. And there was, the gym and just what that brought out in you. And so there was a period of time after that I had a hard time, because I was like, I don't understand, because you sure were working hard for everybody else, but now you don't do that for me.
Right.
And the biggest takeaway in all this is what I want to I want people to hear us say is, you're taking care of yourself for yourself and for your spouse and for your family, not for other people.
That's right.
Not because you want to go to the gym so that somebody, whether it's of the opposite sex or not, tells you how great you look. Or, I mean, look, you've been losing a lot of weight lately, and people have noticed, and I know that makes you feel good, but that's not why you do that. And so for me, why it's a treat, or when it becomes a treat, is when I know that you're doing that for me. Like, that you, and you talked about, you said that it's more than just being physically in shape, but in the same way, I mean, we rarely look like slobs around here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people that they don't care how they look. And I mean, I genuinely, when I get up in the morning and I'm going through clothes and what I'm going to wear, like, I think about you. Like, I'm like, okay, she told me the other day that she liked me in this, so I'm going to wear this. And some days I'll deliberately leave that on instead of changing into, my soccer coaching clothes, because I just want you to see me in that, because I know that you had said that you liked me. And I think that we do that for each other together. So
now,
anyway.
I will say there ain't nothing wrong with coming home and putting on your quitters.
And we do that because
I love to put on my quitters.
But at the same time, we like for each other to see each other looking our best for
That's right.
each other.
Absolutely.
So Okay.
And I just picture some sweet little stay-at-home mom sitting in the floor crying right now because they're like, I never even got out of my pajamas today.
Yeah, but
and that's not what we're digging at.
no, and
we're
you
not
know,
digging
and
at.
I mean, I can skip ahead and say that when our kids were younger, like that was the treat to me, was just knowing what an incredible mom you were. I mean, even I was having this conversation with a friend of mine the other day. Somebody called and was just really complimenting us on where we were in our life because they knew us during the struggle.
Sure.
And they just said, can you imagine if y'all had given up and what would have happened to the children?
Yeah.
What would have happened? I mean, where would y'all have been in your marriage?
That's
you know, I mean, you would have been maybe married to different people, just all kinds of stuff. And just, I mean, it was such an encouraging conversation. And I even made the comment and said, you know, when you did what you did, you were still a good mom. Like, and that's a treat. That was a treat to me all along the way, every stage of our children's lives. Like, you've just been a great mom. And so if you were just sitting in the floor with spit up all over you when I came home,
right.
like
Yeah.
that was attractive
That's
to
right.
me.
That's
so, and that was a treat to me.
Yep. So these treats can change depending on what
for
season
sure.
you're in.
For sure.
You know, like when I had little kids, itty bitties, it may have been a treat if you came. It was a treat if you came home and said, "I got this.
Yeah.
Go take a bath.
Yeah.
Go get in the tub."
And that's the thing. I mean, these people
That's
that are
what-
listening are in all stages,
That's
and
right.
they just need to. That's why you need to communicate.
That's right. That's right. You got to talk about it and say, you know, and our treats don't have to be your treats. They can be completely different. Just what are they?
Okay, so how fast can we just spitball some stuff, because we're really close to.
Oh,
we've
no.
been talking forever.
Go.
Well, I just did mine. You got one?
And you cheated. You just copied mine.
Oh, okay. So one of the things that I really like is when you are okay, or when you say, hey, you're excited about going to do something with just me. Like if it's an opportunity, because we've got one kid in college, so he's not here very often. Obviously, he's not here ever. And then another one that's a junior in high school, so he's gone a lot. And when you actually are like, hey, we can go out to eat tonight, or hey, we could, curl up on the sofa and watch a movie together. Oh, Hallmark. Oh, good Lord. But no, seriously though, when you are excited, because for most of our lives, it has, things were kind of centered around the kids and the kids' activities. And even when that was going on, if there was a time that we could be together and you were excited about it, or even initiated it, then it made me feel like, hey, she doesn't just want to be with the kids all the time. Like, she really wants to be with me.
Yep.
So that was a big deal.
No, I love that. And I love that I can bounce in that same direction, but with a different aspect. And it's okay, because this is a perfect example of us balancing each other out. Because for me, I love when you say, yeah, let's just all go do that. And let's let Logan bring his girlfriend. Or like, I consider that a treat when not only are you willing to let us all go out to eat on a Friday night, but you let us invite somebody else so that our kids can have somebody with them, or a friend or something like that, because that's my love language. And so I love that you see that, and you purposefully treat me with that sometimes. And I see for you, it's a real treat to say, hey, Logan's gone tonight. Me and you can go out. And instead of saying, oh, good, let's just lay on the sofa. But I could say, hey, let's get dressed up and go out, or something like that. And so I love that we know that about each other.
Yep.
And we see that and purposefully try to do that.
Yep. So we have a pretty good rhythm. You don't love the grocery store for lots of reasons, and I don't mind it. And I do a lot of the grocery shopping, but one of the things that's a treat for me that I like is when you actually make the plan where you say, hey, we all at home for dinner tonight? Okay, well, here's what we're going to do. And you either say, hey, I'll run by and grab the groceries on the way home, or if you have time and you want to go do it, this is what we're going to do. And that just means that you're thinking ahead of taking care of our family. And it doesn't always happen that way. But, when we get in that rut of, I don't care what you want to do. I don't care where you want to go eat. It's just like, but when you put some effort into it, it means a lot.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. I like it.
Okay. Are you done? You've that's it. That's all you got, huh?
It's all I have in the amount of time you gave me to think.
Well, we've actually almost gone overtime. I mean, for what we try to do. Yep. So, it's okay. We can shut it down. I mean, there's others that I have thought about and things that you do that are good. Let me just say this. This is one thing too, that when you are encouraging and comfortable and okay, when I want to do something that's for me. And I mean, this is just, so random, I guess. But like even when, we got home from church today, we had a million things to do, but I didn't get to, because we left so early this morning, I didn't get to go run the dog. So it's sort of an expectation, but like almost that you were encouraging, hey, go take the dog. Like this, that's what you do. So go do that. And even though it was going to take some time out of our day and we had a lot to do today, but just like if I just said, hey, I want to go watch this soccer game today, and you're like, if you were to be, don't do that. Like but instead you're usually very okay with, yeah, okay, sounds good, have fun, that kind of thing. Yep. And that means a lot when you're just like, yeah, go do something for yourself. So, and
you don't take advantage of that either, which is amazing.
No. Okay. All right, hey.
Communicate. Don't listen to our treats and say, I need to do that for my spouse.
Well, you could try.
But talk to your spouse and say, what is it that makes you happy? What is it that I do? And read their body language when you do attempt something and see and not only that, but if your spouse does something that's amazing, tell them.
Yep.
Tell them.
So
say,
good.
I see that you unloaded the dishwasher today. That was a huge help. Thank you. Instead of thinking, well, this is his house too. He should be helping too.
Yep.
When you see them do it, thank them. Tell them how much it means to you.
Yep. Love it. Great topic. It ended up being a lot of fun. So
we get to end with my
Good grief, that was terrible. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening.